Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at ChicnScratch, and today I'm going to show you how to make these drawstring bags. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so here's the supplies for the baby shower drawstring bag. We have 2 pieces of twill tape that measure 18 inches. I have my ChicnScratch label, 2 pieces of Moda white fabric that measures 7 by 8.5, 1 piece of the outside fabric that measures 7 by 17 inches. We have some rulers here to mark for the drawstring and for the bottom of the bag, a safety pin, a marking pencil, and some pins. Okay, so now we can get started. Let me slide these over and we'll go ahead and do the first step. We're going to pin these white panels to this. And then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine. Okay, so now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch down here and down here. Okay, so we're going to stitch down this right side first. And I've got the edge of my fabric lined up to the edge of my Bernina foot, a little greater than 1/4 inch, okay? Okay, so let's take the pins out. And you can see they're sewn together. Now what we want to do is press these seams, both going in the same direction, and we're going to add our label, okay? So let's go ahead and press this first. Okay, so now we're going to fold this in half and line up the ends and just kind of finger press this for a second. We're going to open it back up and we want to add our label right here in the middle. So here's where we finger pressed it. So if you're not going to add a label, you can skip this step. So I'm just going to pin this right about there. And I'm going to use a pin that has a flat head. So that way when we're sewing, it won't mess with the presser foot, okay? So there's that. Now, bring these back. And as you can see, our seams line up. So now we're gonna pin. Let's turn this direction for just a second because we want to leave an opening to turn this bag right side out. So this is my marking, okay? So this is going to be my opening. Now what I want to do is pin this on both sides. And then what I'm going to do is take my ruler and I'm going to mark the 1 inch and 2 inches. So this is 1. Make sure you use something that is erasable. This one is erasable by heat. So we'll press it and it will remove the yellow. Okay, so now I'm going to mark this, that I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to stop here. And I'm pinning this down here only to just keep it flat. So we're going to take this to the sewing machine. We're going to stitch, let's see, down here, over to here, stopping here and picking up here. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Go all the way to here pick it back up here, go to here, okay? Okay, so let's recap what we just did. I stitched from here to here, picked it back up here, went down to here, and then here. Same thing on this side. I started here, stitched to there, picked it back up here, went around to right there. So here's our opening for the bottom of the bag, and here's our opening for our drawstring. So now we can remove the pins, and then what I want to do is press those where I marked it. And I will tell you that sometimes I also take like a little wet cloth to help remove that. Okay, you can still see it a little bit, but we'll press it again when we're done, and then that should make it invisible. Okay. Now, let's box the corners. I'm going to take this ruler. And one other thing I didn't remind you earlier is open this up. If you added a label, open this up and make sure that you caught the label and get that pin out. If you forget to take the pin out, you are going to poke yourself later. I'm laughing because I have done that a number of times. Okay, my label looks good. So now what we're going to do is open the corners up, just like that, and lay it on here. And then I'm going to take this 45-degree line, and then I'm going to draw that line. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I want to make sure that I keep the fabric going in that same direction, okay? So 45-degree angle, line. Whoops, that was kind of loud. And then now I'm going to come down here to this side, and I want to make sure that, see how this is going to the left? I want to make sure I do the same thing, okay? That might be a step that I failed to mention in my original drawstring bag. Drawstring, did I say that right? I'm not sure. Maybe I did, I don't know. Okay, one more, and then we're going to take it over there and sew it. So the line that we're making now, that is where we're going to stitch, okay? I mass produce these, so this is what I do. I line everything up and I do all of them at once, and so I take my big stack like this over to the sewing machine, and we're going to stitch along those lines. Okay, so we've just stitched on these lines to box our corners, and so now we're just going to trim off that extra. You can use pinking shears if you prefer. I'm just using regular scissors. They say that if you use those, it keeps these edges from fraying, this part, but I don't cut it too short, so it's okay if it frays a little. Now, we're going to take our bag and turn it right side out. This is the lining, the white. Okay, now we want to close up that opening that's in the bottom. So I'm just going to pinch this together like that and then pin it. So I'm going to start here and go all the way to there and just stitch straight across. I might go ahead and add another pin just to keep it together. Okay, this time I'm lining this up to the inside of that foot. Okay, so we've just stitched the opening closed, and we're going to trim those extra threads. Now it's ready to place the lining inside the bag. Isn't this so cute? Okay, so now we're going to pin each side. Sometimes you have to roll the top a little bit. So I do the sides first, and then I do the front and the back. So just 4 pins. You can also use your clips if you prefer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go and sew 1 inch from the top and then 2 inches from the top. Okay, so around the entire bag. I'll show you that over on the sewing machine. So now we're ready to stitch around the top of the bag at both the 1 inch and the 2 inches. And on this sewing machine of mine, the 1 inch mark is at the very edge of this plate. And for the 2 inch mark, I have used a piece of Post-it note tape. So if you'll notice, this is 1 inch. And if you'll look at this, here's the edge of the Post-it note tape, and that's at 2 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna start in the seam right here on the edge. I'm gonna remove that pin. I'm not going to worry about back stitching because I'm going to cover that stitch line when I come back around. Okay, so we want to trim these extra threads. And then we're going to add our twill tape. There's also some thread on the inside here that you will want to snip as well. Okay, now let's add the twill tape. Again, this was 18 inches. I did get these on Amazon. Okay, so now we're just going to thread this through, and while I'm threading the drawstring, I was just going to remind you guys that I did make 30 of these for the baby shower, for my daughter-in-law's baby shower. This is going to be for my first granddaughter. So I am hoping that one day she'll watch this video and maybe make one of these bags with me, right? Yeah, so she doesn't have a name yet. They're going to wait until she's born. But anyway, I cannot wait to meet her. Super excited. If you follow all of my videos, you saw that I made 30 other drawstring bags, and the color pink did not, it wasn't what I was going for. So I remade 30 more drawstring bags, and this is the perfect pink. And you can see all those pictures of the baby shower over on my blog. I did a little post with some pictures. Okay, so I'm just gonna thread this other one. So I went in from one side, came out the other side. I better explain this. So I went in from this side, went around, came back out that side. Now I'm going in from this side, and we'll be coming back out the same side, okay? I got to talking and forgot to explain. And then the final step after we get this twill tape added is I'm just going to press it one more time. And I did do that for all the shower bags. I don't think that you have to, but I think it just adds something to it. Okay, again, I'm just going to knot it at the end. And you can trim the twill tape if you want, if it looks a little gnarly. Okay, so again, opens up just like that. And then there's that. Here's the size. And let's give it a little, you know what? It doesn't even need pressing, does it? Let's look. Well, let's press it just a little. So I've got my little mini ironing board here and my little Cricut iron. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Have a great day.